All right, we're going to try that again. I'm Kat Jones. I'm the editorial director here at The Pit. And momentarily, I'm going to be joined by Andrea from Holy Grove. And we're going to spend about an hour talking about what she's been up to and sort of getting to know the band. Feel free to submit any questions in the little question mark box at the bottom. Says Andrea's coming in. Let's see. Yay!
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, baby. Let me see if I can get this. This lighting is a little blaster.
You look like a ghost.
Hey, then nothing's changed. All right, hold on. I don't know how to do that, but yeah, I'll keep working on it if you I can talk through it.
How are you?
I'm good, girl. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see your face. For anybody watching who doesn't know us, Andrea and I are actually old friends because I used to live in Portland, Oregon, where she is right now. So it's really good to see you.
Yeah, baby. Sorry about the lighting.
What's been keeping you during this quarantine time that we're in?
I have, well, you know, in the restaurant industry, I really appreciate.
Hold on, I think, uh-oh, you're stuck.
Take a shot.
Okay, you were frozen for a second. Sure. Cheers.
This is gonna go great. All right, let me try to. So sorry,
what's been keeping you busy? That's okay.
Well, I guess the biggest thing that's been keeping me busy is I've been playing a lot of video games, and I've honestly been working on just like decompressing a little bit, because if I think too much about, you know, being currently unemployed because I work in the restaurant industry, and just sort of all the plans that we had in 2020 falling like dominoes, it kind of is overwhelming. So I just take some time and just take care of myself and take care of my people, you know?
Totally. What do you do to decompress when that kind of becomes overwhelming for you?
Smoke some weed. I know that's a real shitty answer, but it's true. I mean, we're really lucky to have it be legal here in Portland. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm really trying to get this lighting right. I thought I had it all worked out before all this shit started, but oh well.
No, I think sometimes once you go live, it looks different than it does like on a normal camera, so it's really hard to prepare.
Oh, sick. But you know, checking in with our friends, you know, I have this really amazing group of people that I've basically stayed in touch with every day since all this shit went down. Mm-hmm. And so it's comforting to know that, you know, other people, I mean, we know that other people are going through this shit, but it's kind of nice to know that other people are out there you can reach out to, you know?
Oh, hey, Royal. Speaking of people that are awesome.
Yeah, he's my homeboy. We shared some.
And Liesel.
Yes.
Oh, the Portland people are coming in. That makes me so happy.
It makes me happy too. Sorry, am I really loud?
No, it's great.
Okay.
We're all grateful for how loud you are, because you've got some of the best pipes in the biz, girl.
Thanks, baby. Well, I feel like, you know, just having a place to sing and perform has been, you know, life-changing, to say the least, you know?
So for anyone who doesn't know Holy Grove, how would you describe yourself? Like, there's so much arguing over like genre names.
Sure.
All the time. How would you describe yourselves?
Oh, man. You know, it's hard to just sort of like put us into one box. I'm sure you hear that from all sorts of bands, because no one wants to be labeled a dude band. No one wants to be labeled a stoner band. I mean, you know, when I say like no one wants to be labeled that, it's because there's more to their sound than just one. And we're not like true, authentic doom or true, you know, we're just sort of like a we just pull from all those different influences, you know? So I would say, you know, I think of, it's not really like a genre, but I think if anybody were to describe us, I think our albums are really wonderful sonically. You know, they're complex and they're ponderous at times and heavy at times. But I really think being considered a great live band is like the ultimate, because essentially that's what we are, you know. So, and I think that when you say, you know, what do they sound like? You can even say like, oh, they're a killer live band. They're really loud. I think that already kind of like gets people to think, okay, well, who are some of my favorite live bands? And then you could maybe pull from influences here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Who are some of your influences?
Well, vocally, Dio by far is like my biggest vocal inspiration. I oftentimes, it's, you know, I'll do like, if I'm writing melodies, I'll often think like, what would Dio do? Because what he would normally do is probably something really epic and really outside of his box. Not outside of his box, but like complement the music. So I always think about, you know, his performance and his power, and I try to like put that into my writing and in my song, my performances. I also, you know, I also love Tina Turner, you know, and I think she's a great representation of someone who like leaves it all on the stage, really gives it her all, and really captures like emotion. And I think that bands that are able to create and like expel emotion are really, really influential to me. As far as the sound, you know, I think any band that has a good song that you can like get down to. I mean, I grew up in like the 90s, you know, early 2000s. I'm still growing up, but you know what I'm saying? So like,
aren't we all?
Yeah. Like my influences are all over the spectrum. You know, I grew up in a household that was like, loved music, but really loved like commercial radio, didn't really dig too deep. So yeah.
What was your favorite like commercial radio band in the 90s?
You know, I watched a lot of MTV, you know, and I listened to the radio a lot, but I really watched a lot of MTV. And, I think I really fell hook, line, and sinker for like, you know, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, not so much Nirvana. Like I definitely, you know, props to them. But like, I think when Pearl Jam was out, they were, you know, oh my God, because their videos were so epic. But, you know, I fuck with a lot of 90s music, you know, like still today, you know, but it's the 90s were a weird time. The early 2000s were a weird time because so much was like shoved down our throats, you know, and like, this is what you like, this is what you like. But I kind of always managed to go a little bit like back in the day type music. I was drawn to more punk, you know, in the 90s.
What was your favorite punk band? Or top 5 if like one is too hard to pick.
Well, I really love, I mean, and I don't want to get slighted for this, but like X-Ray Specs were a huge band for me. I love The Damned. I love, oh God, of course it's like, you know, your mind draws a blank, but
totally.
The Ramones are like my all-time favorite band of all time. And, yeah, I just love them so much. And, I named my dog after the Ramones. So yeah. Check this out. I'll show you a cool thing. Greg had this made for me. It's just hanging on the wall right next to me, by the way. I didn't like have it.
Or like, here's my prop for this interview.
But look, is it backwards? Is it backwards? It's probably backwards.
But that's fine. Oh, that's so cute.
So it's done by the same artist that did Your Cat, Brian Crabaugh.
Oh, the guy that did all those, the Valentines, like the heavy metal Valentines.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, she's got like a Ramones jacket on. It's really sweet.
That's so badass.
Yeah, but you know, I was really drawn to like, you know, hard and fast as opposed to like hard and slow, like, or heavy and slow when I was a kid. So I was really into the Misfits and still am. You know, I saw them at Psycho Las Vegas last year, and my mind was blown.
How was that performance?
Oh, it was great. I mean, honestly, you've been to Psycho. Have you been to Psycho before?
I went to Psycho California in 2015, but I've never been to the Vegas iteration.
Vegas is totally different, and you're just like keyed up. Not so, you know, maybe on drugs, but like you're just surrounded by people and all these amazing bands. And so to see the Misfits, for me, they were playing all the hits. I never thought I would see, you know, I mean, you can see dance, you know, but it was a big deal for me because seeing that music surrounded by all those fans was really exciting. And it was great. They, like I said, they played all the hits. So it was like, I watched their set. I didn't stay for the whole thing because basically if you watch a whole set at Psycho, you miss about 4 other sets.
Because they overlap a bunch.
Oh, that's the name of the game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
got to pack them all in.
Dude, for real. And it was at Mandalay Bay, so you have to like walk a real long distance. And if any of you out there have been to Psycho Las Vegas, you know, like just getting from point A to point B is like 45 minutes. Not just because of the distance, but because you wind up running into people you know and sitting and chatting and shooting the shit. And like, anyway, but as soon as they played like Hybrid Moments, I was like, okay, I can go. Like I stayed and heard all my favorite songs because I knew I would have regretted if I didn't stay for that and Bullet. Just, you know, yeah.
Totally. Well, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Were you guys performing or were you just hanging out?
I was just going. I was invited to go. I was invited to go on Friday, and so I showed up on Friday, and because I did, you know, and my name wasn't. They couldn't find like my name, and so it was this whole thing, and I wasn't like worried that much because I knew like, hey, you know, they're still selling tickets. I could just buy a ticket. But luckily, I ran into Ben and Aaron and Travis of YOB and like in the hallway. And I was like, they were like, dude, what's up? And I said, you know, we shot the shit a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get my pass. And Stoller like pulled out like a weekend pass. And he was like, here. And that's
amazing.
Dude, I was so stoked because like, it was great. Because it really, like, immediately, you know, I was with my brothers, and then I was like taken care of. I left on Sunday, but I originally just was going to stay for the one day. But I'm glad I stayed for the second day because, you know, my friends in Warhorse were playing on Sunday, who I unfortunately missed, but I was able to kick it with those guys, and I was able to catch Royal Thunder, and it's
awesome.
It was just a great time. I don't know if they're gonna, you know, still do the damn thing this year, but I got my Trump
fingers
box.
Crossed.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It's like it's hard to say because it, you know. I don't want to be that band who crosses that, you know, who like is like, okay, we're doing this thing. Come on out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird time, that's for sure.
Well, you brought up an interesting point that, like, you know, that Portland is such a tight knit community of like all these family members, and you run into people that you know in Vegas, and they're happy to help you out. Why do you think Portland is so tight knit like that?
Honestly, I think it's because there's just good people that live here, you know? And I don't mean that. It's like, it's not just the musicians, you know, it's the people that are the sound people, the people that go to the shows, the people that, there's just a lot of good people here. And I think that we all, you know, fit somewhere in that fabric, you know, of support. And, it doesn't seem like everybody's just vying to get to the top. We're all just trying to like do our own thing. You know, Gaytheist is a band that I've loved for years and years and years.
Yeah.
In Portland, dude, what's today? We were going to play a show with those dudes tonight in Eugene.
Damn it.
Dude, it was our first show. It was our first show we were doing like this little mini run to go up to LA, go down to LA for Smoke Out. Mm-hmm. And I was so stoked. Like every time I saw Nick, because he works at High Watermark, and which is a venue in Portland. And every time I saw him, I was just like, I'm so stoked to play a show with you. You know, I've loved Gaithiest. Again, when you talk about like defining a band as like being a good live band, they definitely are that.
Oh God.
And
anybody who's watching right now, check out the band Gaithiest. They are so fantastic. I think they have a record coming out like this Friday.
Yes, they do.
Or next Friday. Is it? I can't remember, but it's very soon. All their records are amazing. They're hilarious. Fantastic Portland bands. Oh man, what a bummer that got canceled.
Yeah.
This thing is ruining everything.
I know. And yeah, so I just think it's because we're like no one's trying to like come for anybody, you know? And I've never experienced that, you know, because Holy Grove's my first band, and I've never been a band in another city. But I've heard, and you know, that there are certain pockets where it's like you got to kind of screw someone over to get your shot, you know. And in a weird way, Portland never has felt like that. You know, everyone's, you know, I've gotten help from all over, and so it's really nice.
And it's also, it seems like a place where people are just encouraged to be artistic and creative and to like be yourself.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I think,
That's awesome.
Cheers to Portland.
So, take me back to when Holy Grove first started. How did you guys all meet each other? Like, how did that come together?
Craigslist miracle, baby. It's true. So, you know, I've been going to shows my whole life, and I, you know, have been singing my whole life, but never. And when I lived in Boston, like I was fortunate to live with musicians, and I was always surrounded by live music. And I just had this light bulb moment. I saw, there was a Decibel tour that came through town. And at that time I was like going out and like singing karaoke. And so I developed this like newfound sense of like, I just love to sing, but I would love to sing something a little like heavier and more meaningful because it's my music, you know? And, so I saw this, tour with, In Solitude, Devil's Blood, and, I think it was with Tane. And when I saw the Devil's Blood, like they had been a band that I had listened to for a little, you know, it was like right around that time that, you know, this band Devil came out, and Ghost and the Devil's Blood were getting a lot of like hype. And I saw them and I was like, fuck, I just want to like be a part of this show somehow. And, and then literally I posted an ad on Craigslist. And I got a couple hits. And Greg had an ad on Craigslist as well. Because at that time, he and two other dudes were like jamming together, but they didn't have a singer. And so I responded to his ad. And I think all I responded was, have you ever considered a female singer? Because honestly, I got a lot of like, hey, you want to be in a band? That's cool. We should like get together and like talk music. And I don't mean to like, you know, call anybody out, but I, you know, there is a level of like people trying to pick up people, even when you're like in a band, you know, trying to like make music together.
Right.
But Greg was like, hell yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. We haven't like thought about it. Like, we need a chick singer, but I wanted to put it out there, you know? And so I literally went like the next couple days we hooked up. I learned a Mountain song, you know, the band Mountain. I learned one of their songs and we just played it. And after that it was on. And then we needed another guitar player. And we met Chet on fucking Craigslist. And
that's so awesome.
And then years later when we, you know, 'cause for any of you guys that don't know about Holy Grove, like we have a, you know, we it's been the core members, myself, Trent, and Greg, and we just, we've struggled keeping a drummer, which is like, hey man, there's a reason.
I feel like that's a problem that a lot of bands have.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, it's a whole Spinal Tap like meme, basically.
They spontaneously combust.
Oh yeah, oh dude, what's happening? So long story short, we met Eben, who plays on our second record. Amazing drummer, amazing dude, on Craigslist. Yeah, so it's really weird because I don't know if you've ever sorry, I'm trying to like adjust this shit. I don't know if I don't know if you've ever spent time on Craigslist looking for someone to jam. I'm sure a lot of your viewers have. It's oftentimes a wasteland of like hits or misses more than hits, I should say. I mean, I know a lot of people that play music can oftentimes just tell when someone unloads their gear that it's not going to work,
Totally. And then you have to spend like the whole practice being like, I know this isn't going to work out, but
you don't want to be rude or anything. Okay, this is going to have to work. So yeah, it's weird. We all met on Craigslist. The weird thing about Eben is that like we know, we have mutual friends, but we never found him, and then we did, and now he's gone. So it's just the drummer thing, but it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I was really looking forward to playing with Andy, who was going to drum with us on this little run. That would have been killer. We're still going to collaborate and everything. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So how long were you guys just like practicing and jamming before the first record came out with the self-titled?
Oh my God, almost 2 years. Like,
wow.
Yeah, we a lot of times bands will like put out music like right out the gate. Like even, I mean, we released a demo, but that was just to get us like booked, because it's really hard to get booked if you don't have anything to share with someone, as you can imagine. So we had gone to this dude's basement and recorded like a couple of our songs, and it was, it got the job done, but recording like the tone, and it's just, so anyway, we were playing gigs and playing live and doing that for like 2 years, getting better as a band. And then we went into the studio, and then it was almost like another year. I'm probably getting my timeline messed up. That's
okay.
I'm not the numbers.
We're not going to fact check.
Yeah. I'm not the numbers man in this group, but, it was a while, I remember really vividly, playing shows and having people be like, yo, do you have anything recorded? And we just didn't, because we just wanted to get better as musicians and playing with each other, I think that's something that you can even see or hear in the first record is, even for me personally, like I'm just a better singer on the second time around than I was on the first time around. So it makes it.
Which is saying a lot, because you're a damn good singer on the first one.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was.
Of course.
I was definitely like, it was all new to me. It's all, when you think about recording your first record, you don't think about recording with like Billy Anderson, who, was, our engineer and producer on both records. So there was some nervousness because he works with, the best in the biz. And,
so for anybody who is watching who doesn't know who Billy Anderson is, he's the legendary producer who helped make Sleep's Dope Smoker and the third Pallbearer record. Or is it the third Pallbearer record or the second? I can't remember. Foundations of Burden and a million other like incredible records in the heavy music world. So look him up. Check out all the records he's produced.
Yeah, Neurosis, Melvins. I mean, he was like the man. He is the man. As far as, creating a sound, he was, responsible for that.
So what was it like working with him on your first ever record?
Intimidating, but he does a really good job at making you comfortable. It was intimidating for me just because I wasn't even recording, and hearing myself back was even something that I wasn't used to, because when you sing live, it's like, you sing it and then it's gone. not gone, so to speak, but
Right.
it's like you don't hear it back a million times and like overanalyze and, you know, be overly critical of yourself.
What was that like the first time, like having to hear it and go over it?
Do you know that emoji with all the teeth that are like
yeah.
that? Just all that all day, in and out, and like, just, I mean, I was not confident. I wasn't a confident person. I wasn't confident in like my ability to get the job done. I wasn't having as much fun as I had on the second record. It was like, to me, it was like all business, and, you know, I have to hit it every time. And it wasn't like that for me, man. It was the second time around, I was just way more like, I was just so much more chill and so much more confident. A lot of that had to do with the fact that we toured the record, like, and by toured the record, we basically workshopped songs on the road, which played a huge part in why the sound on the second record sounds so much more cohesive. I feel like everything really, we're all complementing each other, as opposed to this sort of like freight train, just kind of, you know, not, sometimes it sounds a little choppy, you know, the first record, to me at least, you know.
Well, I mean, you're like deep in it, so you're seeing things that we might not necessarily see. When I listen to that record, I just hear a fantastic record, but you are right that the second one sounds a lot different. So
yeah.
So what was different about like your inspiration for the second one? Like, what was different about what the band was going through at that time?
Well, the songs on the first record were basically riffs that Greg brought to the band that he had, you know, because Greg has been an accomplished musician for, you know, 15 years prior to Holy Grove, and had done a lot and had this like, you know, grab bag of riffs ready to go. And Trent, when he joined, the songs were basically already written. So by the time the second record came along, they were all songs that we had wrote together, the three of us, for the most part.
Cool.
Not every song, but the songs on the second record, we all collaborated on. We all were, they all came from us and our experiences as a band. And, you know, Aurora is on the record, which there's YouTube of us playing Aurora like before the first record even came out. So Aurora is like a palate cleanser, because the songs are so dense on 2 that Aurora is just like this weird, like, I hadn't even written lyrics down for that song. I held a YouTube video up of me singing and going, oh, I think I remember that. Eben had never played the song, literally, but Billy loved it because Billy had seen us play it out a few times and was always like, I'm going to record that song one day.
Oh, that's so cool. So he's like, no, I know there's another song you guys have.
He's
Where
like,
is
where's
it?
that boogie song? And we were just like, oh God.
That's the one that has like the cowbell at the beginning. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's the one.
That's so cool. And it's also like a way shorter song. It's like 3.5 minutes or something. Whereas the other ones are like epic, like 12-minute adventures.
Yeah, which, you know, it's like, so Aurora is sort of the wild card. So Aurora is really the only song that was already written. But it somehow fits, you know, like I think where it fits, you know, in the album is great. But I think on the second record, it was just us really coming together as a band, and also being, having a lot of setbacks pushed us to just hunker down and focus on what we love to do, which is get together in a room and write songs, you know, because not having a drummer for so long can really just sort of take the wind out of your sails. And totally. I don't want to put, like, I don't mean to put, you know, all the, like, it's not just the drummer thing, you know, but, you know, there's something between a band that can like go to a practice space and jam as a unit, and a band that is kind of forced to, you know, work on drum programming and still being inspired. And we were inspired because we also had the first record and all of us feeling like, God damn it, like we have so much more to give, you know, we have more to say, you know, I don't want this to be like, I don't want to go to my grave and have, you know, Huntress. I love Huntress, but like, I just would like to do a little bit more. I'd love to go back in the studio. How do we do that? Okay,
Totally.
we have to write new songs.
And I think it's an interesting thing because so many drummers are in like 10 bands at a time. And
hey, so what's up, girl?
Hey.
I just got hit by a drummer. No, I'm kidding.
So I think sometimes drummers are forced to make decisions and choose the band they want to tour with more, or they just have too much going on. And it's always made me curious, like, why is there a shortage of drummers in the world? Why aren't there more?
Okay, so God, I hope that this doesn't like bum anybody out, but there's no shortage of drummers. There's just a shortage of like good drummers. And that's a shitty thing to say because, and by good drummers, I just mean like drummers that are committed to their work. Like drumming is a part of their world. And I think that to be a really good drummer, you have to like be really into your ability, and you have to work really hard and you have to practice really hard, and you can't fall back on like, you know, you have to constantly be better. Drumming is like a whole, finding a good drummer is like a needle in a haystack sometimes. And they're so precious because, the truth is you are only as good as your drummer, but
totally.
You know, it is what it is. I don't know. I just think it's important that if I were a drummer, I would have, you know, I don't know where I'm going with this. Like, I guess it's just because like, you know, you can't really like plug a drum kit into a pedal or an amp and have it sound good. You know, you really have to be proficient at what you're doing.
You have to hone your craft all the time, and have a space where you can practice because it's such a loud instrument.
Yeah.
So take me back to working with Billy. So Billy has worked with so many incredible bands, and he has so much wisdom to share. What's some wisdom that he imparted to you guys when you guys are working together?
Some wisdom that Billy. So, you know, the thing with working with Billy is he's all about. You can always do one better, you know? So he doesn't stop until he gets what he thinks is the best performance possible, you know? And so he's always pushing you, and he has an amazing ear. So there's a lot of like, that's good enough, or, you know, we got it. Like, let's just give up. Not give up, but
But like that was the take.
That was the take. And he's often like, was that really the take? I don't think that was the take. I think you got one more in you, you know?
Awesome.
And I think it's important to keep that in mind, you know, because he's really committed to the quality that he's putting into the band, into the sound. So I think that's the biggest takeaway. And for me, as far as like, I mean, he's one of the most amazing people to work with to get a really good like in-ear mix. He's the master. I don't know if any of you have ever, you know, done any vocals before on a record, but it's really, he's weird. Like he can tell just by my performance, you know, what I need more of or less of.
Wow.
So he can really get a great take just from knowing the.
So he just has like a sixth sense to be able to tell that stuff.
For sure, which is a huge relief, you know, because I don't have to fish around necessarily and tell him what I need more or less of, which I'll do, but he's got it. He can usually tell right away.
So when is Holy Grove 3 gonna come out?
Well, that's the great thing about this time, is that music can still be written and released without having to go out and perform it. And we are not in any rush, really, but it will happen. Our plan was to have songs written to take out on the road and kind of take advantage of what we did on the second. And that might not be an option for us this year. So if I were to guess, I would say next year, because I would love to have new music. I would love for our sets to be nothing but new music.
Hell yeah.
Like by new music, I mean, songs that we haven't been playing for 10 years. We've been a band since 2012. So,
wow. Has it really been that long? That's so cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think 2012, but maybe earlier. I don't know. Greg, again, I'm bad with timelines. We've been a band since 1988, baby. No, I'm just fine. Look at, there's Alyssa. What's up, girl?
Hi, Alyssa. We love you.
Yeah.
So what's your personal favorite Holy Grove song?
Well, I would say that I have my favorite song on the record is Cosmos because Cosmos to me tells the most cohesive story pulled from my experience, like when I listen to Cosmos, to me it's the one that I feel the most fulfilled, where I feel like I said everything I wanted to get off my chest, I think
amazing.
Yeah. And it's cool because when we first started writing Cosmos, we weren't even sure if we were going to be, a band anymore. And then when you listen to it, it sounds, it has this like real triumphant kind of ender, because it's like, no, we will persevere. And yet she persisted.
Yeah, it has like a very hopeful vibe to it. It's like, it's got like a killer climax to the song, and it's so heavy, but also like really emotional at the same time.
Yeah, hills and valleys, And the thing is that it happened really organically, like when we wrote the song, because we don't set out to write these like 14-minute jammers, but we will write the song until it feels finished. Until it feels like all the parts make sense together. And I would say that that's probably performing that live is, it's an exercise in endurance, because
totally
I'm like beat red by the end of it. So I love listening to it, but I'm not sure how much we're going to ever play that song live. It might just be like a studio song.
That's a lot of air to be pushing through your lungs.
Dude. At once. But Solaris on our second record is probably my favorite song to play live, because it's, it's inspired. I like the inspiration of this like sentient ocean, and it's real. I feel like the lyrics really serve the feel of the song, and when we perform it live, it just gets so heavy and punishing, and that's probably my favorite song on the record to play live.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, going back to Cosmos, so that's the song that on the record, Mike Scheidt from YOB is featured, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How did that come together? I know you guys are buddies, but how did you talk him into being on your song?
So I ran into him at Stumfest, and he was telling me that he's going to be in town next weekend. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he was going to be in town the following weekend.
Right.
Because Guy was going to work on his truck. Awesome. And I knew that weekend we were going into the studio, and I was like, you should come by.
Just to watch, just to hang out?
No. I was like, I want you on the record. I didn't know where. Awesome. I was like, I would love for you to be on the record. I didn't have anything planned for Cosmos. I didn't have any part written. I just wanted him to contribute in some way if he wanted to contribute in some way. And he was down like for day one. And it's funny because he's on Cosmos and Yob has a really killer song called Cosmos. So I didn't even think, he didn't even say, and I was just like, so yeah, he came into the studio and it felt natural to have him be on Cosmos because it was the one where towards the end, it has such a natural kind of call and response opportunity for, and so he could just come and just do whatever he wanted. And he did that. I mean, I sent him the lyrics and we sent him a rough mix of what we had. And I don't even know if vocals were on it yet. But yeah, he just got in, he came into the studio and kicked it for a couple hours, and then he was gone. And then it was like a grab bag of these like choice sounds that he was making. And it was just like picking and choosing and Billy putting them in. And they all kind of fit, and it was a dream come true to have him on the record. I love collaborating, having Uta sing live harmonies on our record release that you were there was huge because
Uta is the singer of Witch Mountain for a couple of records. Not the current singer, but the previous singer.
Yeah, the previous singer. So I think it's really fun to collaborate with other musicians as a band, and who better to collaborate than with a band that inspired you and keeps inspiring you. So it's been awesome.
And what a magical human being to contribute to your art.
Oh,
I just feel like he's one of the most inspirational people in all of metal.
Totally. Everyone, yeah, he's the greatest. And he's been such a huge supporter of us since the get-go. It's been really nice to be a part of that friendship and have a place for him to come into our world for a little bit. And yeah, he's great. So he played a really cool show right before all this shit went down. It was just him, and he did a solo. You know how he does that acoustic solo bit? Mm-hmm. And it was him and Aerial Ruin and Panopticon.
Oh, wow.
Panopticon.
Wow.
At this
what
venue.
A lineup.
Dude, it was killer. It was really beautiful. And there's this venue that opened up in Portland since you've been gone, I think. Azoth. I don't know if you've been there. It's this,
yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, really very small, DIY, great venue, great people behind it. But not, it kind of has like a community, it's not like a bar, it is just what it is.
Is it like a DIY space?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Very, very cool. And they killed it. And it was great to see Mike perform. And, anytime you hear, Beauty and Fallen Leaves on acoustic is just like, pulls at the old heartstrings.
Yeah, I bet there was not a dry eye in the house.
Not for me, dude. It's just like, it's just really nice. And I was just floored that I had never seen Aerial Ruin before. I mean, Eric is such a rad dude. I see at shows all the time. But, I never saw Aerial Ruin, and to see him perform and to see everything he does with pedals and his vocals was really impressive, because it's something that I can't do or haven't learned yet.
Right.
So it was very
There's
inspiring.
Still time.
Dude, there's plenty of time. Yeah.
Well, looks like we got a question down here. Let me see. Oops. Just made my screen go black for a second. Did not mean to do that.
None more black.
Well, it's kind of a goofy question from Gary Suarez. He wants to know if you could be any kind of tree, what kind of tree would you be?
Well, here's the thing, right? So I think I would be a cedar. A mossy cedar. They smell good, and you can like carve into them really easily. It's like balsa, like their bark is so soft, and I would have this outward, I feel like my trunk would just be all scarred up. And and people could like leave their mark and leave their impression on me, and I could grow really big and provide lots of shade, and I think that's what I would be. Greg and I,
that's a perfect answer.
It's just, I think that's what I would be, because I think I wouldn't be anywhere where I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have people in my life that left an impression on me, because that's just who I am.
What a beautiful sentiment.
Really?
I love that. I mean, we get this goofy question from Gary Suarez, one of our writers, who is amazing. And then
Gary.
You turn it into this like absolutely gorgeous answer.
Yeah, it's my name, Andrea. Thanks, Jose. Well, I think it's,
Hi, Jose.
Yeah. Jose is like, dude, so what an amazing person.
What an amazing person.
So much fun. And, Chile. So I should tell you, it's been really sweet.
Hi, Chile.
We were all on the road following Tool during the pre-lockdown time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we were all together, like, doing this amazing thing. And then as we were coming, the first show that we went to was in Spokane, and then we went and saw them in Portland. And right when they played Portland, everything just shut down. So, so it's this weird shared experience that we have. And you know all about shared experiences, when you went to the desert and survived that crazy ass flash flood. You're like bonded forever, just such highs and such lows.
You guys are already like such tight-knit family, and that brought you together even more.
Yeah, and it's weird because I feel like I navigate those like soaring highs and the super crushing lows quite well, because I do it like on the daily. So it's like, I took all this time off from work. I never have done that before, and now I've got infinite time off of work now. Cool.
Well, at least you got like a proper vacation in before all this.
Yeah, that was rad. That was rad. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty epic.
Looks like we got some more questions here.
It's so nice that people are asking questions. I really appreciate
I love
that. Because this is my first time doing this. It's been really sweet, and
Jeff Olson wants to know, I've seen you guys play a ton in Portland. Curious about your favorite Portland venue to play.
Okay, so my favorite venue in Portland to play was the Tonic. And right before the Tonic closed, or right before it was announced that they were closing, I remember we were on the road and I was talking to people about the Tonic and how that's like our home base, and that's our bar, and our favorite sound people, and so that's my favorite venue to play. But we have been so fortunate to play some really killer venues in Portland. We played the Crystal Ballroom. We played the Roseland. So we played these like massive stages. And it was pretty epic to play the Crystal Ballroom, because the Crystal Ballroom is legendary. I mean, I've probably seen more shows at the Roseland because that's where all the bands play, all the heavy bands, they play the Roseland, and it's such a huge stage. But the Crystal is so special because it's the most historic venue that we ever played. That I'm just so grateful for that opportunity. We played with the Melvins. We played that Sabretooth Festival with Corrada.
That's right.
Yeah. And that was just killer. I mean, yeah.
I love going to the Crystal because of the springs in the floor. Yeah. And when there's a pit, it makes it so everything is like very disorienting, but in a good way.
Did we go to Sleep together? Did we see Sleep together there?
Yes, we did.
Okay, yeah. I saw
I'm like, which time? I've seen Sleep so many times. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was like the first time that they came back, like from being, you know, hanging it up.
Yes, that's right. And before they started playing like every festival ever.
Yeah.
We got to see them at the Crystal.
Good for
which
them,
is, yeah,
man. They gotta make that money, you know?
Yeah, I'm so glad.
But I saw King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard there, and I may have been under the influence, and that bouncing dance floor was it aided in the experience.
That's awesome. Looks like we got a question from Mr. Mark Lohr.
Yeah, dude.
How's Trent's new studio space coming along? He asks.
Well, it is coming along. So Trent lives in St. John's, and Trent built a studio, like built walls, and
wow,
he did it in, I mean, the most efficient way possible. We went and checked it out, the control room. It's really cool because on the second record, Trent's always wanted a studio. You know, he worked at, is it Sound City in Portland? He's been an engineer, you know, in the past. And so it's always been a dream of his to have a studio. And in his last place, he just kind of like souped up his garage a little bit. But this time he really was like, okay, I'm going to make this thing happen. And we went to his house.
That's so cool.
It's been great. I mean, he has a whole like setup, and he has like an isolated vocal booth. He's built isolating, like, so when you put an amp, you can basically put an amp in like a coffin, so it doesn't put out any or you can put a not an amp, but a cab. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you put gear. The thing is that when you live in a residential area and you're trying to like write, you want to crank it, but this way he can crank it without it being, you know, upsetting to the neighbors.
Without pissing everyone off around.
Yeah. I bought him a lava lamp. That was like my
You gotta have the good vibes. It's very important.
Dude, lava lamps in studios, it's like a thing. I bought Adam Pike a lava lamp for his studio. He loves it, by the way. He tells me it's the best.
I feel like Holy Grove is like ultimate lava lamp music.
Yeah. I would
almost said black light music. It is also
I would love to have a black light poster like as part of our merch. I think that would be super.
You should sell a kit that's just like a black light, like a velvet black light poster and a lava lamp together in a kit.
Yeah.
With like a joint.
Yeah. And a beanbag chair. And a copy of Dazed and Confused.
Yes.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, one more question for you, and that is how right now during quarantine time, what's the best way that people can support Holy Grove? Like what website or what streaming service can they use so that the money goes directly to you guys to help you out?
Well, Bandcamp all the way. Bandcamp is the way to support us directly. Because, you know, we have PayPal and we have Venmo and you can send us money, but we would so much rather like give you something. And we've got some really cool merch. We priced all of our shirts at $10, which is very cheap.
That's great.
Yeah. Cause we're like, you know what? We're not really going to be able to bring them to the masses. So we're just going to make them cheap and affordable. And I think just, playing us on Bandcamp is really key. Also, if I think we have some people that support us that have been like ringing the Holy Grove bell ever since they discovered us. And so I couldn't ask for more. I have been so floored in, you know, what response we've gotten. You know, I think there's always this level of like putting something out there and seeing who salutes it. And we have always had like such great people behind us, very respectful and very, you know, true to the core, good people. So they know what's up. They know how to do it. And just coming on this and supporting us this way is, you know, awesome during quarantine times. And yeah, I couldn't.
You deserve it, girl.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. You know, I'm sad that we're not going to be able to do as much as we wanted to this year. But you know, that's just the way it is. The way it is, the way it is, the way it is.
It's just the way it is. Well, hopefully you guys will be back on the road soon.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting to know that we'll have a new record soon too.
Yeah, baby. I can't wait to share it with you. Yeah, it's just we're just gonna keep on doing the damn thing, you know?
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Andrea.
Thanks for having us. I love you too.
So good to see your face.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been fun. Thanks for being so patient.
Of course.
Bye.
See ya.